According to the National Highway Safety Administration, 71% of teens and young people say they've sent a text while driving. Texting while driving is just one way you can be distracted behind the wheel. Our 11 local expert attorney Greg Remingay is here with us to talk a little bit about distracted driving. Now, a lot of people think that just texting and driving is the definition of distracted driving, but there's a lot more than that.
Well, distracted driving has been around since people started driving. Distracted driving is anything that takes your attention off the road. When we were at my age, we would reach for a tape or something and try to put it into the tape player. When you're doing that, you're distracted. If you're drinking a soda, looking at the soda, you're distracted. If you take your hands off the wheel, that's distracted driving. So all of those things increase your risk of having an accident. Anything that you're doing that takes your attention off the road. One of the ones that's most overlooked is when you're thinking about something else. You had a bad day at work. You're thinking about that and you're driving, but you're really not paying attention to the driving because you're thinking about work. Well, what makes texting while driving so much more dangerous is it involves 2 or 3 of your senses and you're distracted from all 3. You have your hand off the wheel, so your hand's not where it's supposed to be. You're touching the screen, not looking at the road, so you're not looking where you're supposed to. And most of the texts are something you're thinking about and they're very important, so you're mentally not paying attention to the road. So texting while driving increases the risk that much more because it is all 3 of those. You're not watching the road, your hand's not on the wheel, and you're not thinking about the road. So that greatly increases the chance of having an accident. The National Safety Advisory says that texting while driving is even more dangerous than drunk driving because at least when you're drunk driving, you may not be occupying all those distractions. When you're distracted driving, you're that much more distracted. And we also have the teens. They are more inexperienced. They have their 3 senses now not paying attention, and so they are much more likely to cause an accident while texting than some of the other times when they're just grabbing a Coke or something else.
And now, do you have any advice for parents, a quick tidbit or anything that they can tell their teens before they get behind the wheel and pick up their phone or their iPod, try to change the radio station? Any advice for them?
Well, I think that it's just a matter of having those conversations throughout the time they're growing up. They learn from watching you. If you're distracted driving, when they get behind the wheel, they probably will be distracted driving. So start having those conversations. We cannot do this. When I get in the car, I have to put my phone away. You guys have to do the same thing. And make sure that you reinforce those things as they get older, before they start driving, so that they feel they know what's appropriate when they actually start driving.
Well, that's wonderful advice. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back.